This is Robert Martellacci, the MindShare Learning Report, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine. And welcome to This Week in Canadian EdTech special edition. I'm honored to have join me for a MindShare Learning moment, Katina Papulkas, who is Dell Education Canada's Strategist and former TDSB Vice Principal and Director of Partnerships for TVO. Thank you for joining me today, Katina.
Thanks very much, Robert. It's great to be here.
Well, what a fascinating time it's been in education with adapting learning to remote learning and continuation of learning. We've seen some incredible examples of creativity and innovation across Canada and beyond. And so, first of all, how are you doing? Hope everyone's healthy at home.
You know what? It's been a bit of a pause button on our lives. I'd have to say it has been just a new experience. It is a new normal, but we are doing okay. Thank you so much for asking.
Excellent.
And yourselves. How about your family?
Yeah, everyone's well. We're all
Good.
co-working at home and very laser focused these days. It's been very busy for us immersed in education and technology. And this has been a busier time for people like yourself at Dell who are relied upon to sustain learning at home. And perhaps you can talk a little bit about some of your initiatives as you pivoted online.
Absolutely. So I'll just show a few of my slides, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Tell you a little bit about my team. I'm a Dell Education Strategist. I represent all of Canada from coast to coast. I also have a team of 10 K-12 strategists in the US, so it's great that we can look to their expertise as well. I'm also on the post-secondary or higher ed team for Canada, and I have 5 other colleagues in the States. So we're a team of 15, stretching from K to 20, and our whole focus is to really look at teaching and learning amplified by technology and how we can really focus on student outcomes. So really what's happening now is, I do believe this, there's opportunity in every challenge. I do believe we are all in this together. We're in that same boat, but as we know with equity, we are not all experiencing it the same way. So as mentioned at the very beginning, my lifestyle, it has been put on pause. We're as busy as ever, but we also want to recognize and empathize with those who are also going through different types of times. Those with medium impact, meaning that they might have some job loss. They might have people who are having to try to juggle youngsters and kids and other responsibilities while also working. And then we really do have a lot of impact families where maybe they haven't had technology to do the learning right now, or parents are out of job, high stress levels. So we really have to make sure we're acknowledging all of the different levels that people are experiencing. And even just checking in on mental health and wellness. Kids Help Phone has indicated they're up 350% with phone calls during this COVID time.
Yeah, crazy.
So we do have to really check in on that mental health and wellness. And something I just tweeted out today, really excited to see this from Surrey District. They're the first ones in Canada to put out a toolkit for parents and educators to support mental health and wellness of both our youth as well as our teens. So really making sure there's some great resources in there that you can offer. So if you look up Stigma-Free Society and Surrey School District, you can get this toolkit. It's fantastic.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So our particular team, we've been right out of the gate, have been doing some webinars to try and support leaders of all sorts. So from on the IT side with CIOs to the teaching and learning teams, really to support what's happening and how we've moved into the remote learning. Really happy to have Stephen Whiffen, the Director of Instruction and the CIO for SD43 in BC. Had him on last week for a great chat, and I suggest you go and listen to the recording. He did a fabulous job and really shared some great insight into what their district is doing to support this remote at-home learning and great ideas for moving forward.
I was fascinated by his perspective on sharing and how they share nationally and internationally, and the learning that happens through that. And they're a very giving board, and of course I know them very well, being part of C21 and where we hosted our conference last year. But No, thank you for leading that webinar, and we shared it in our MindShare report, and so it's a recorded version that you made available.
Perfect. And the one thing I'll say, really check out that pedagogical help desk that he talks about. A really neat idea that we can all learn from. So
Absolutely.
our team, of course, we're focused on access, really trying to support how can we get as many students as possible connected so that they can be part of the learning. Lots of creative ideas that we're seeing across the country. School buses with Wi-Fi opportunities in there so they can be driven into communities that don't have Wi-Fi. Schools and campuses turning their Wi-Fi into the parking lot so parents can drive in and actually park the car and kids can do their work in the parking lot. So just using creative ways of taking the resources we already have and then just making them accessible for those who don't. In
Wonderful.
terms of Yep, in terms of remote learning, what we have seen across the country is all kinds of different tools being used. Like this is just a collage of the possibilities, how teachers are reaching out to their students. So never before, I have been an educator working with technology for the past 20 years. And, over that course of time, just trying to get teachers to feel comfortable in that online learning environment and dipping their toes. Well, we have totally transformed in 6 weeks. So kudos to
Incredible.
the educators. It has been an
Absolutely.
incredible, hats off to everybody involved in this because we really should be proud of the great gains that we've made, and just as a starting point to really build that momentum in Canadian education. One thing we do have to consider, an issue that all of us have to be aware of, is this is a serious time around data privacy and security. So we need to make sure our students and our educators are all being conscious of the tools that they're using so that they can be safe, because we want everyone to experience positive experiences during this time. In addition to the learning, I do want to say I'm excited to share that we are continuing Girls Who Game across the country, and this is where
Awesome.
we're supporting our girls in gameplay, but learning to code through Minecraft with Microsoft team, and giving them a chance to communicate with each other across the country, to talk to each other during this time about what they're learning, what their experiences are. We're connecting them in a very positive way. So really excited about that. We usually do this face to face, but now we're running virtual GWG quarantine version. We
Brilliant.
have also partnered with the Ontario Science Centre, and they are working with us as well to reach out to the girls and offer their scientific expertise as we really try to get our girls interested and engaged with STEM so it's sustainable. The women of Dell and Microsoft are reaching out to our girls as well, and they're telling them the different education pathways they've taken and the careers that they've engaged in. So lots of great opportunity that even though we're virtual, we're still learning and we're still trying to make it happen.
Very
And
inspiring.
here's a tweet of one of our districts, Pembina Trails in Manitoba, showing them how they've gotten their Girls Who Game and they're working on the challenge. And we really just want to inspire joy and fun right now with this club and program. So excited
It's
to
so
keep
important to
sharing.
strike that balance, isn't it? It's not just about worksheets, is it? You want to create some fun and innovative projects that are project based as opposed to being on the computer all the time.
Yeah, and also like thinking about that extracurricular, kids are under some stress right now. How are we making sure that they can still be social, but have some learning involved, but in a fun way? So that's what we're trying to do here. Um,
Brilliant.
I I was just mentioning about BC. They actually have their own learning continuity plan that the ministry has released. So you might want to look to that. But
Hmm.
basically, what I have seen across Canada is on all of their websites, they have some sort of learning continuity plan. They're creating task force where they're going out and specifically targeting certain areas. And as mentioned, Stephen Whiffen from our webinar, this is an example of a learning continuity plan that they were sharing, just how they're approaching it and how to make sure that they're targeting specific groups that perhaps need a little bit of extra attention. So great document from BC Ministry around the framework of covering the COVID. Another area we really have to think about is that learning quality gap. So we're used to
Mhm.
what we term the summer slide during July and August, but now we really have to think about how are we going to help those students make up that instructional time. So we're hearing things like summer school, extended hours, all of those different ideas. Haven't heard anything final from any district, but we're getting there.
I
Every
love
day's
the notion of summer camp. It gives it a better connotation that you referenced while we were out there.
Yes, yeah. So summer camp, we might be seeing a lot of that just to, again, release the stress, but to try and catch up on some of that instruction.
Right.
So our districts are different across the country. Everybody's experiencing a different start date, end date, all of those things. Looking to the Toronto Star, we did see this is an example of what it could look like in September. We don't know at this point in time. Lots of speculation, lots of sharing of different ideas, but that's what those task forces are being asked to do, is figure out how are we actually going to get back to school in the fall. So we might have those staggered starts, we might have alternate days. Just being, again, creative problem solving is what we need to do right now. But really where I see it going is blended learning, where we're having
Absolutely.
that, yep, combination of at school learning and then anytime learning, where that could be at the home again or in different spaces and places as we start to open up. So really we want to make sure that the kids are learning in school because we understand the importance of that relationship, and then also recognizing there's opportunity here with this virtual. And I think all of us have discovered that we don't want to do just virtual. We want to do that combination where we can come together. So what we found is it really is about making sure that we have devices, we have networks, we have security to keep people safe, and lots of professional learning to help our educators and our kids do this successfully. So we are going to be doing a virtual professional learning community. We're going to be holding some conferences throughout the summer to work with everybody and to really just engage and see how we can move forward together. We want to stay positive because, like I said at the beginning, there's opportunity in every challenge. So we want to take this momentum, this transformation that we've started, and just keep moving forward. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much for that, Katina. That's so inspiring. I really value your deep insight, and you bring that lens to the equation of a master educator who's been in the trenches, who's
For a
behind
long
the
time.
system, and but very masterful. And what I admire about you is your passion for sharing. And strong leaders are very humble, and they're not afraid to share it. And I think that's where a lot of our Canadian champion teachers, they challenge them to do that and mentor, because you're not going to be a teacher forever, but you can be a mentor forever and a leader. And that innovator's mindset is so vital today, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I would not be where I am today in my career without some fabulous mentors that I've had along the way. And Karen Gross being one of them. And it's just interesting, throughout my career, I've had so many incredible people impact my career. And we've always had that passion for student learning and student growth and to help others. And it's just manifests through a mentor relationship. So it's great to be a mentor. It's great to be a mentee. We always keep giving, always keep sharing. And, that's how innovation happens. And we'll get through this all together for the betterment of our students.
With that, I thank you again, Katina.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to chat with you.
That was Katina Papulkas, the Education Strategist for Dell Technologies Canada. My name is Robert Martellacci, the MindShare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.MindShare Learning to get your latest issue. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.